Good afternoon and welcome to the 21st Annual Exhibit of Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Technologies. This is an international fair, of course, particularly in the fuel cell industry. We have people from 150 different areas in the globe. It's really surprising. A lot of participants. Up next on the stage, I'll be talking to the Palcan Energy company, represented by Dr. Chen, who's the chairman of the Palcan Energy Corporation. Next to John on the stage is Wolfgang Chen, who is the general manager of Palcan. And last but not least, Andreas Gomez, who is responsible for business development at the Palcan Corporation. We have a lot to talk about because, of course, China has a massive role to play. We all are guessing that that's the way things will work out. But before we begin to talk about the applications, perhaps, John, you could give us a brief idea of what the company is, when it got started, how large it is, and where you're located.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shen. I'm the founder of Palcan Energy. Palcan started business in '98 in Vancouver. We started the business for building the fuel cell and also developed the solid hydrogen storage for fuel cell. And we developed the first bicycle, fuel cell powered bicycle, and a fuel cell powered scooter in 2000. And since 2008. Our business is focused in China. We set up R&D in China. Also, we built the manufacturing facility in Suzhou near Shanghai. And we have been in China almost 8 years. And we are doing a lot of projects right now in China, working with China Mobile for the telecom backup power. And also, we work with top 2 electric bus company for range extender, for fuel cell range extender project. And we are very busy in China right now.
It's always good to be busy. That's business. Wolfgang, I'd like to address to you a very specific question, which we deal with also in Europe. We all know that in certain European cities, actually many, there are smog alarms, there's so much pollution that according to European law, we should not be driving diesel vehicles, even gas vehicles, within the cities. So I'm sure coming from China, there may be similar problems to deal with in China, that is simple air pollution. Is there any pressure as a result of the air in China to launch, let's say, buses in large cities?
Yeah, for sure. When you talk about the air pollution, then it's for everybody clear that China is now suffering a lot from the polluted air. When you go to Beijing, there was more than 200 days the air is classified as polluted. It's obviously that the air is polluted, and they analyzed where comes the pollution with the emission, and then they found out the coke plant and the bus, especially the diesel bus in the city, and logistical vehicle, which run long time in the city. So in China, now we had started to make electric vehicle, especially for bus for public traffic. So the plan is started 2 years ago at the beginning in 25 cities all around China, especially in the city Shenzhen. It's very close to Hong Kong. There is, since 2011, more than 4,000 electrical buses. This is a huge amount. And during the past 4 years, during the test, the bus had originally 3.6-ton battery, lithium battery in the bus, and it ran around 300 kilometers. But after 1 or 2 years, the battery capacity is then not anymore so good. So now in China, we had thought that we found a solution with electrical bus, but actually the electrical bus has a problem with the battery performance degrading. So the Chinese government is now searching for a solution about this problem. One way is that fuel cell. So with fuel cell, it's obviously clear that it's also green technology, it's also clean, and it could always charge the battery, and to avoid any overusing of the battery, to protect it and to let the bus driver feel safe.
We have seen and again this particular problem here on this stage. And just to clarify what we're talking about here, battery-powered vehicles were around when I was a kid in Toronto. They delivered the milk, but the problem was always the range. Sometimes they're very heavy. The most effective, the modern light batteries have the problem that they don't like to be drained down to zero. And also, if you want to have light batteries, when you step on the gas, you want to have perhaps the combined power of a hydrogen fuel cell and the battery, and all of a sudden that lightens your load. You have basically two things supplying power to the motors. This marriage of batteries and hydrogen fuel cells has been proven again. The fields you mentioned, logistics, delivery vehicles within the city. Many cities are working towards mandating these technologies. You know what the problem, though, is, Wolfgang? At least in Europe, it's simply supplying the hydrogen. That is, every time we expand an infrastructure here, we have to scratch our heads and say, who's going to deliver the hydrogen? And to be honest with you, we get into a lot of trouble about this, because if you have supposedly clean technology, but you have a diesel truck delivering the hydrogen, it looks dirty. It just doesn't look attractive. So here's a question to you. If in China they are going to develop a fuel cell hybrid vehicle fleet for the buses, for the delivery vehicles, they will need a supply of hydrogen. Do you have a network? Is there an infrastructure? Or how are you going to deal with that problem?
Very good question. So everybody knows that hydrogen station is a headache for this industry. But in China, we have another way, another solution, or another situation. Basically, I give you a number about the methanol. The methanol is mainly produced in China. The latest amount is around 60. It's around
800 tons.
800 million
ton,
ton.
yes.
Is the 8 million ton methanol is already used for the vehicles. So, for example, in Shanxi province, they mixture the methanol in 15% to the gasoline. And in this province, there is more than 2,000 gas stations from the second biggest China oil supplier, Sinopec.
Yeah.
So in China now, almost all the drivers know methanol, what it is. So with methanol and with the reformer, we could easily onboard on the truck to get the hydrogen. So the problem in China is quite different than here in Europe. You need solar or renewable energy to get hydrogen. But as the small size, 5 to 20 kilowatts methanol reformer plus a stack, it will be wonderful past for the bus extender.
Yeah, and of course, methanol has that added advantage that the energy density is higher. Pressurizing a tank full of hydrogen does involve loss of energy. It's a question of how much energy you can carry. Hydrogen energy density is just so low.
Yeah.
So it really does. That's one of the issues that everyone talks about here. What type of tank do you need if you want to drive 600 kilometers in a hydrogen car? And of course, methanol with a reformer on board is a very neat way to structure a bus. With all of these potentials, having an infrastructure of methanol already in place in China, that means obviously there's a huge potential market for applications here. But it's always the question of what governmental decisions are going to help us implement this technology. And here, John, it really is vital throughout Europe. We've seen it again and again. We need cooperation, initiatives, and we need a positive policy from the government in any European country in order to get this technology on the road. So how helpful is the Chinese government?
Yeah.
Have you convinced them?
I think that's why we said that the opportunity for fuel cell is in China right now is because government really want to solve the problem, and they plan the big, heavy subsidize for the electric vehicle, including fuel cell. So each bus, I'll tell you a number, each bus, EV bus, electric bus, they subsidize 1 million yen. It's about 140,000 euro per each bus. And that's just bus, like a logistic vehicle. Every electric vehicle, they have allocated amount of money to subsidize. Almost those monies cover completely the battery and the system is already enough money. And within 2 years or 3 years, they plan 20 billion euro to subsidize this industry. So this just we're talking about the subsidy, the money, and the whole industry we calculated it will 200 billion euro will be involved in this industry, and the fuel cell is already approved by government is qualified for the subsidization, so you can get the money covered by the government.
Well, this makes the market very attractive. Of course, the next question is for Andreas. You're in the business development, and it's always also a question of a business model. Who's going to do the manufacturing here? We have potential here, but this is a monstrous market. So I don't know of any manufacturers here that could consider leaping in and supplying everything that's necessary. How far is the manufacturing capacity for fuel cell technologies developed in China? Are they going to supply the demand in the future, this huge demand? Are you looking for cooperation between European, North American, and Asian and Chinese manufacturers? What exactly do you hope for?
Hello, good afternoon to everyone. Yes, the industrial capacities of China is ready to welcome the fuel cell and hydrogen technologies right now. So we believe this because the supply chain is strong and mature enough, because I have visited many kind of suppliers, and all of them are willing and looking forward to use their components in new projects with innovation products to help the biggest problem that China has right now, that is the pollution. Personally, I've been working before in other industries, in shipbuilding industry and steel manufacturing industries in China. And I have seen the great combination for both technologies, international and Chinese, working together. So in all those industries, you can see high quality Chinese equipment for machinery, all kind of accessories such as pump, valve, sensor, that are ready, all of them are required to this technology, fuel cell and hydrogen technology. So in our opinion, it's in a short sentence how we can do it in China is we have the manufacturing capacities in combination with here many innovative companies and with high technology here in Europe and foreigners, together with a huge market that there is China, and then in addition with the speed that China is doing the business. When China try to do something, and we expect to make it grow fast, the hydrogen and fuel cell business.
That seems to be one of the contemporary advantages of China. Here, there's too many people discussing the same issue, so it just takes a long time to get a decision through. If there are any questions, by the way, from the audience, just raise your hand and we'll try to address them. I know that you just noted, Andrea, the nature of the game is cooperation internationally, of course. And it's wonderful to hear a company that addresses, first of all, they have the capacity, the intellectual potential. I like the fact that you, John, you're almost like a relative because we went to university in Canada, both of us, although you're in China now and now I'm in Germany. That's the nature of international technologies. But still, it'd be nice to hear something about the individual role of Palcan Energy Corp. What exactly do you plan to do in this process?
Okay, so Palcan is already in China for 8 years, and we know how to do the business in China, and we also know the industry, fuel cell industry, and how to fuel cell industry, mainly that battery industry for the EV vehicle industry. So what we think is that we can offer a platform here, and any company, any technology want to go to China, either to manufacture, commercialize, or market their products or technology, I think we can assist you. Because for us, is right now, we planning to, next year, we need to build 10,000 methanol fuel cell powered system, 10 to 20 kilowatts, offered to our bus company. And a huge job ahead of us. We need to partner together with good technology supplier and working with us to meet those demand. And I think that the 10,000 is available very quickly next year. And this is a big, big potential. And we welcome everyone can working together, cooperating together to meet this market.
Well, sorry? Would you like to say something, Wolfgang?
Just in short words, when we always talk with the investors or with government, we always ask them, do you prefer in China iPhone or a clean air? So it's always the question for them to think about the future. China develops very quickly, but they make air pollution so seriously. So anyway, they welcome that all the people from the world to take their technology to do something for the Chinese.
That's a very important message to wind up on. There has been, even in my country, of course, I'm a Canadian, a rather dramatic change in environmental policy. I would prefer to have clean air in Canada and a Chinese iPhone and clean air in China. So these are changes we all have to focus on, and the key, of course, is environmentally sound technology, environmentally sound mobility. It's so wonderful to have you here. I hope you'll be coming back next year.
Yes.
Yes, good. And you can tell us about the progress there. This is a huge opportunity for everyone here at the Hanover Fair to talk with these people about the implementation of hydrogen fuel cells in China, because it is a massive market, as everyone knows. It's going to explode. It's simply an environmental pressure we cannot ignore. So anyone manufacturing the technologies here, they're going to be missing a business model if they don't talk to these guys. So please do that. I'd like to thank you very much, Dr. Chen, who is the chairman of Palcan Energy Corporation, Wolfgang Chen, who is the general manager of the company, and of course, Andreas Gomez, the business development manager.
Thank you, Brian.
It's been great to talk to you. See you back next year.
Thank you.
And we'll be continuing in 2 minutes' time. Up next on the stage is what I forgot to write down, which Power to Gas, Supply Concepts for Green Hydrogen with Professor Dr. Hartmut Krange, Managing Director. Thank you.